To the credit of companies like EA, it took them well over a few years before they built up their current level of notoriety. Bethesda, on the other hand, managed to drain all the goodwill they had built up down the toilet in a matter of weeks. The company seems to have straight up lost its mind throughout 2018, doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on their blunders and insultingly dismissive responses. Even as this year comes to an end, Bethesda's once again finding itself under the limelight of controversy, this time in the form of unwarranted bans and a bizarre response to the situation. Reports of this began to surface about a week ago on December 22nd, 2018, with one Reddit user who spent over 160 hours on the game detailing how they were banned from Fallout 76 despite the fact that they never hacked or cheated. While they did admit having used the glitch to store more stuff in their stash at one point, that's completely different from what Bethesda accused this user of in an email, which reads, quote, "This account has violated the code of conduct and terms of services by cheating. The account was detected to be running a third-party application, which provides an unfair in-game advantage while logged into Fallout 76. The email then proceeded by quoting Section 9 of Bethesda's Terms of Service, which notes various examples of third-party tools that may give players a gameplay advantage that are not authorized by ZeniMax and may result in a ban. The email continued, "The use of this type of application is not permitted under any circumstances, nor for any reason. As a result, we regret to inform you that this account has been permanently disabled and will no longer be eligible to participate in any ZeniMax online services." And then for the interesting bit, if you would like to appeal this account closure, we would be willing to accept an essay on why the use of third-party cheat software is detrimental to an online game community for our management team to review. To a lot of people, this last paragraph sounded like a joke, leading them to believe that the email might be fake. However, there are multiple instances of people reporting this email, and YouTuber Juicehead, who followed up on this story, showcased multiple instances in which the exact same email was indeed sent, meaning there is little doubt that it is the real deal. Yup, Bethesda's solution to deal with suspected cheaters, their way of rehabilitating these no-good doers, is having them write a piece on why their actions are bad, akin to what one might be assigned to write in middle school detention or something. It's hard to say for sure if writing an essay will actually yield any result. I personally have yet to see reports of anyone actually submitting an essay and getting their account unbanned, though Juicehead apparently got in contact with someone who blatantly admitted to cheating and still managed to get their account back, while many others are still waiting for a response. Now, this would all be a lot easier to overlook if Bethesda was fully justified in their actions, but the problem with this latest development is that some players were banned without tangible justification. While there were probably some people who actually did use hacks, cheats, and exploits to gain an unfair advantage in Fallout 76, others were banned for simply running certain applications in the background or for other unrelated reasons. For example, one of the Reddit users was seemingly running a program called Cheat Engine in the background, which sounds dubious on a surface level, but many people use this to tweak some stuff in single-player games and whatnot. Even if people aren't using the program for Fallout 76, the game apparently looks for any users who have this cheat engine software idly running in the background or detects if it's installed, and if that's the case, users will automatically be flagged. Players who have data mined Fallout 76 even found lines of code within the game's anti-cheat system confirming as much. And from the looks of it, Fallout 76 is unable to differentiate between various use cases or even the lack of use of this cheat engine program, resulting in wrongful account terminations. Another user, for example, noted how while they do have Cheat Engine installed, it's in some other hard drive and they haven't used the program this year, but still got banned over it. Now, to some extent, I understand Bethesda's concern surrounding a program like Cheat Engine potentially being used maliciously for Fallout 76, but the right way to handle this isn't to cast the net so big that even the innocent get caught in the crossfire. At the very least, Bethesda could have issued a warning about what kinds of applications being installed or running in the background might cause potential bans and explain why certain security measures had to be implemented. Had they clearly warned players to close or uninstall Cheat Engine and similar applications before booting up the game, then perhaps a lot of this could have been mitigated. Now, another program that's seemingly raising red flags for Fallout 76 is called Reshade, which in simple terms allows users to inject additional graphical effects like ambient occlusion, depth of field, color correction, and more. Essentially, it's something of a universal graphics modification tool, one that works for some games better than others. While this program obviously falls in the category of third-party software, nothing about it grants players any kind of gameplay advantage. Going back to Bethesda's terms of service, the types of unauthorized third-party software they list all have the potential to be detrimental, but Reshade doesn't fall into any of these categories. Beyond that, there are also some people claiming that they are being banned for modding their game. Now, of course, some mods are bound to be less tolerated than others, particularly those that could grant unfair benefits, but many of the mods people are using tend to be visual or graphics tweaks. Now, in some cases, people had both mods and third-party software like Reshade running in the background, so it's entirely possible that mods may not have been at fault with some people's bans. But there are also others who have lightly modded their game, claiming that they don't have cheat engine, Reshade, or anything of the sort installed and were still banned. So, while detection of programs like cheat engine resulting in bans is almost certain, when it comes to mods resulting in bans, it's a little less clear how Bethesda's handling that. This certainly isn't a case of everyone who's modded Fallout 76 being banned en masse, but there are reports of such occurrences trickling in once in a while here and there. The most frustrating thing about all this is Bethesda's general lack of clarity on what applications and mods and what kind of usage are deemed acceptable. Was it their intention to ban anyone who's had cheat engine or Reshade installed, regardless of whether they were being used for malicious purposes in Fallout 76 or not? What are their policies on the kinds of mods that players are allowed to use now while they prepare for mod support? After all, certain visual mods might simply enhance graphics, others might change the game's visuals and interface in a way that could grant players certain advantages. Examples Juice had pointed out include a mod called Lockpick Bar that automatically reveals the sweet spot for the lockpicking minigame, and another mod called Recipes and Plans Glow that highlights valuable objects scattered throughout the world. So the question is how Bethesda makes distinctions between these kinds of mods and whether certain mods are riskier to use than others. It's also worth pointing out that according to the email they sent out to banned users, the recent ban wave had more to do with potentially harmful third-party applications, but many Fallout 76 Nexus mods are neither harmful nor third-party in nature. There's just a lot of uncertainty and confusion going around about how at risk players are of getting banned for simply having a program or two installed and running in the background, or for trying to implement unobtrusive fixes that Bethesda itself has yet to properly patch in. It's quite hilarious that Bethesda is the one asking players to write an essay when the one in dire need of writing up an explanation on what the hell is going on with these bans and what the hell went wrong with Fallout 76 is Bethesda. Now, Bethesda's community lead, going by the username gstaff, did take to forums recently to address this issue a bit, specifically responding to a Reset Era thread on the matter. He began by stating the following: "Catching up on all of this, we flagged the use of third-party applications within Fallout 76 because we do not want players exploiting the game in ways that provide a competitive advantage or negatively impact the servers and gameplay experience of other players. If someone receives a ban for modded content, for now they should reach out to us through help.bethesda.net and we will review the appeal. We don't need an essay for this. As previously noted, we will be looking to add mod support at some point. When we have new details, we will let everyone know." It's stated very clearly here that third-party applications are flagged when used within Fallout 76, but many players were banned when certain third-party applications were used outside of this particular game, or even when they weren't being used at all. Then, when it comes to mods, the implication seems to be that potential bans for modded content get more leniency, with gstaff stating that an essay isn't required to appeal this. Then, responding to somebody asking if it's really true that Bethesda is requiring essays for those suspected of cheating with third-party applications, gstaff had this to say: "The essay request happened. We have had some conversations about this today. Once we are out of the holiday season, we will talk about it more. In the meantime, if you receive a ban or suspension for third-party mods, please reach out to us through help.bethesda.net and we will review the appeal. definitely no essay going forward. So at the very least, Bethesda finally realized that making people write an essay about why cheating through third-party applications is wrong, especially when many of them never actually cheated, is a really dumb idea and are now resorting to more traditional means of reviewing cases. However, given most staff over at Bethesda are likely on holiday break, we'll probably have to wait until the new year before any major updates. G-Staff also responded on the official Bethesda forums, answering questions about what constitutes an unauthorized third-party application that could get flagged by Bethesda, when one user suggested that these are specifically applications that run in a separate process from the games, so executables that are not created by Bethesda. G-Staff said, quote, "That's correct. The cases I'm aware of, it's known cheat applications, but I'm asking questions. In the meantime, if your account gets flagged, know that you can use help.bethesda.net as the appropriate grounds for appealing. Thanks for raising this." In other words, they are only actively on the lookout for cheat applications, while mods that tweak graphics, interface, and other aspects of the game within reason should not be subject to bans, so anyone who suspects they were indeed banned for simply modding the game and didn't actually engage in any illicit activity should definitely submit a ticket about this. Just as importantly, anyone who didn't actually use programs like Cheat Engine to cheat in Fallout 76, or anyone banned for running harmless programs like Reshade in the background should also make their case. As for Bethesda, hopefully they'll reverse some of these unwarranted bans and they need to come up with a better system to sort out actual cheaters from the rest of the pack. And if there are indeed occasions in which mods are getting flagged as some have reported, they need to look into that and reverse those ensuing bans as well. For now though, until Bethesda makes clarifications, if you're a Fallout 76 player, just be on the lookout. Definitely try to avoid programs like Cheat Engine or Reshade when running the game, and maybe go easy on the mods until we know for sure whether mods are actually being flagged by accident or intentionally, or if that part was a misunderstanding, and until Bethesda explains what the overall criteria is in that regard. Or conversely, you could just avoid Fallout 76 and save yourself the trouble of having to worry about bans and other shenanigans for a game that has stumbled at every turn since release. So there you have it, folks. That's my take on the situation. I'd love to hear what you think about all this in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. To be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.